Thank you, Liam.
This year, across the country at more than 3,600 participating locations like this one, there are millions of Americans gathering safely as one nation to remember, honor, and to teach. We all are proud to be Americans that live in a free society made up of many people from many different walks of life. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying in cemeteries throughout this nation are men and women who have given their lives so that we can live in freedom and without fear. We can worship as we see fit. We can raise our children to believe as we do. We are free to vote for the leaders of our choosing. And we have the right to succeed and the right to fail at whatever endeavors that we wish to pursue. The United States of America was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the world. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we shall not forget you. We shall remember. Today, more than ever, we reflect on our nation's veterans and active duty service members who have had and continue to fight to protect the innocent and the oppressed. This nation has always been the first to stand up for the freedom of people from around the world. Many of you here today have answered that call and served your country well. For this we say, thank you, and we are honored to know you. There are men and women serving today in all branches of the military, here at home and in places far away. These men and women are part of the best trained, best equipped force in the world. We honor them and their families for the sacrifices that they make each day to keep our country safe from our enemies, hatred, and injustice. Quoting our 40th United States President, Ronald Reagan, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States, where men were free." Today we show a united front of gratitude and respect across the United States as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve and their families, and teach the next generation the value of freedom.
Events such as Wreaths Across America remind us of who we are, and that no matter what, we are all members of the same community, not just here in Holland, but across the entire country. You know, we all live here, we're all Americans, end of the day. Disagree, agree, whatever. You know, we're all Americans. Even in this room, when you look around and think about it, we all come from different backgrounds and experiences, but we all have one thing in common: our love for freedom. Our love for freedom. Those we are placing wreaths for held the exact same belief as we do today. Some we are remembering today even fought for the freedom of others across the world. As a country, we are still doing that to this day, whether we're on the ground or not. Freedom is worth fighting for. Freedom means something different to everyone, but overall is enjoyed by all, and we should remember that. And that's it. Thank you. If you don't mind, I know you're probably going to introduce the next person, but I just want to say something real quick. Dusty's up next. Big round of applause for Dusty. He stepped up. He wants to serve this town, and we unanimously approved him to be our next Veteran Service Agent. So please give him. It's a big job, and give him appreciation he deserves for that.
Introduction ever. Unanimous. No, that's.
Don't worry about it. I got it.
Talk about timing. Right? Yeah, it's an honor. I blame some of these guys here, sitting here, because they put me in a position where I felt like this community deserves someone to step up. and serve the veterans, our brothers, our sisters in our community. I wish I could still fit in my uniform like you do. The blue jacket. Anyway, so I was thinking about this because Lisa called and she said, hey, Dusty, you got a few minutes, give a speech. And I'm not really much on speeches. I like to flow free because I am free, right? So I was searching for something to talk about. And I want to talk about my grandfather, who was an Army medic in Europe during World War II. This one's going to hurt, but I grew up with an image of we are free. Now, he didn't share the stories of running from foxhole to foxhole and doing what he did to save lives. But what he did do is he instilled in me the pride of this country. What we, not only what we have, but what we have to covet and serve and protect is that freedom. There is a drive for me so that when I grew up, I had an image of who I was supposed to be, to serve my country, the greatest country in the world. And I did 10 years in the Army, and it was crazy. And then one day I grew up, got out of the Army, and decided to have a life with kids. And a lot of those teachings that I got from my grandfather, I instilled in my kids. And my youngest kid grew up to be a Marine, who did 5.5 years, Afghanistan. You know, I think it's amazing what we have. I think when we honor those that have fallen, my grandfather lived to be 95 years old, and he never wavered in this country and those that served with him. He believed in this country. He believed in the greatest gift that was ever given, which is the freedom of men to govern themselves and to protect it with their lives. Go down through the history of the United States, and there has always been men willing to pick it up and protect it for the next generation. And I'll leave it at that because I think it's amazing. All you guys that are in the back, over here, the veterans that sit here, you're amazing. And I pray a blessing over every one of you. Oh, and Hunter, I look forward to voting for you someday.